Hello teacups, what's brewing? So we are back. I was so close to not making this react, you guys, 'cause work has been work. Oh, this week has been appalling. Yesterday, which obviously I reacted to her 1980s mukbang Wednesday night, and now it's Friday, so yesterday was hell. Hell on toast. But the weekend is here and I've got time to react, so we're gonna do it. I've gone as far as looking up her recipe. I got tricked into a creepypasta, you guys. I'm going to talk about this in a little bit, but that was not the deal. She said she was recreating Simply Sara, not tricking me with a creepypasta. But nevertheless, I shall persevere and we will move on. I'll talk to you a little bit about that later, but for now, let's get into the video.
Hello, Foodie Beauties.
This is not what I agreed to. Oh, that's very loud, sorry. Hopefully it won't.
Well, the second haunted resort here is the Hotel Monte Vista in Flagstaff. You guys, I've been here.
Yeah.
It's very well known to be haunted.
Certain.
You get a knock on the door, okay? And we're told, at least Robin told me, that apparently that was the Phantom Bellboy.
All right, I have some problems already. One, compared to the rest of the video, her introduction seemed very loud. However, I do and have appreciated these last few themed videos. She has been experimenting more with doing an introduction. Here's the really confusing thing. As I said, I've watched the next few minutes. She goes from, it's titled a Simply Sara recreation. I don't know very much about Simply Sara. I watch her occasionally. She hasn't been posting that much. I heard about her when Zachary Michaels did the bologna salad thing, and then I've checked in with her occasionally. More or less, she seems like an extremely unhealthy but sweet lady who does recipes and puts them out. With only a few exceptions, her recipes all seem, one, huge, and two, terrible for you. So I'm a little concerned about Chantal getting into it, but I can definitely see why she's excited about them. Here's my problem with the video as a whole. You're trying to do too many things already. We are 45 seconds in. You bring in the viewer with a recipe recreation. You then go straight into horror, which I'm not looking for. As a viewer, I'm here definitely for her weight loss. I react to her mukbangs, just to kind of the food side of things. I don't like the horror stuff. It's my least favorite type of mukbang. I'm not here for the cats, but not everyone is me. Yeah, if you're here for the cats, great, that's up to you. I don't like her creepy cat voice, but people like animals. It's okay for us to be different. But you're presenting all of those within a 45-second period. So because she does have a very mixed audience, I think she should be more careful not try to not mix the content. Sorry, my brain just went, nah, no words. She should be more careful to be very clear in what her content is going to be in any particular video, because in trying to cater for everybody inside one video, it's that whole jack of all trades, master of none kind of a thing. She's just going to, I'm going to come in as, let's say, a recipe recreator and be like, oh, fun, I love this. And I'm going to switch off the moment it goes straight into this horror intro. And it's a very disjointed thing to deal with as a viewer, and I don't think it's going to help her long term. If she wants to have all this type of content on her channel, it needs to be separated content so people can curate it themselves.
We're telling creepy stories, yeah?
I hate the cat stuff, but then the 20s thing here as well. Her recipe thing is all like, oh, look how I'm quirky and I've got the background and I'm going to do this lovely recipe, which there is an audience for that. I like that content, okay? But after this horror, I would have, if I hadn't watched her before, I would have gone to the horror intro and been like, oh, no, and switched back. I don't think she should be using the 20s here either. It doesn't fit.
BBJ, you're such a drama queen. Hey, everyone.
Oh, Her eye makeup is very pretty today. Her makeup in general is quite pretty today. I could do with a little bit more blush just to stop her face being quite so white when you look at me. But I do find a problem I have as a pale person, and something she probably has as well, especially as she's trying to hide her rosacea. Rosacea? Oh man, let's drink some coffee. Rosacea is she uses kind of heavier foundation to cover that, which I do as well. I have uneven skin and my skin's very pale, so when you do that you flatten your face entirely, and that means you have to add other things to try and give it some dimension, which she doesn't always do, given that she has a very dramatic dark eye and then a very pigmented lip, which I like as a look on her. I think her makeup looks pretty here. I think she needs a little bit more help in her skin just to keep her looking a bit more human. And I say that as someone with similar skin tones, not hair, but similar skin tones, who has similar problems. And it's just something I have to do to stop it looking too harsh. As ever, I hate those earrings. When she showed them to us, I hated them, and I hate them now. But other than that, she's looking fine.
And welcome back to another episode of Simply Sara. Creepypasta.
I realize she's made that mistake on purpose, but if you're not sure, then think about your audience.
Okay, so creepypasta, yes. Today I'm going to try to replicate a recipe from Simply Sara, mac and cheese recipe.
Welcome to another episode of Simply Sara. Today on the show, we're going to make a classic mac and cheese.
However, I'm going to half the recipe, and I'm going to add hot Cheetos, flaming
hot. Oh, you guys, answer me this. I'm a European. Well, I'm British, and the European status is a bit of a sore subject at the moment. But adding potato chips, adding crisps to the top of like baked recipes. I know it's a thing in America, and I guess in Canada, but why though? And I say this as someone who comes from a country that eats crisp sandwiches. We call potato chips crisps. And so if you think like Lay's, which is Walker's in the UK, we will get a piece of buttered white bread. We will put salt and vinegar crisps on it, and we'll put another piece of bread and eat it as a sandwich. Okay, as a country, we have our own problems. But I don't understand having a crisp topping. And she's saying flaming hot Cheetos here. I believe she says like in a minute she didn't end up doing it, and thank God. But I don't understand it as a topping. It seems like it would be a terrible thing to cook.
hot Cheetos, because
Yeah, she decided to admit it. Thank God.
flaming hot Cheetos on it, okay? So we're going to be doing that, and we're going to be talking about creepy shit today, because I love creepy shit. So, if you love creepy shit and you love pasta,
I don't.
You're going to like my creepy pasta series.
I like pasta, I can't eat it very often. I don't like creepy shit. I feel tricked as a viewer that we got into creepy shit when I came for Simply Sara.
Speaking of shit,
Must be.
I'm using Alba macaroni that has fiber.
Why?
Because this mac and cheese has a lot of cheese. So if you ever want to be able to, again,
Okay, if you're going for a beautifully made up, and this is a problem with her in general, when she's doing her recipe videos, or I'm a beautiful vlogger and I'm sharing my lovely home life domesticated, we don't need to talk about your shit. I would say we need to talk about your shit far less than we frequently do. Second, that makes absolutely no sense. Constipation is never her problem, and she's about to eat what I'm guessing is a metric ton of cheese without a gallbladder. Her problem is that she is constantly on the toilet. She doesn't need extra fiber making that worse. What is she doing? That doesn't make sense at all. And I hate the fact that we have to have a conversation about her shit before any kind of food related content. But if we're going to, what a terrible idea that is. What difference? Oh, the rage of the obvious stupidity kills me.
fiber is smart. That's why they call it smart macaroni.
If the smartest thing in this shot is the inanimate box of macaroni, you have bigger problems.
Alright, so I guess without further ado, guys, let's get to. All right, guys, so first step is melting. I melted 3 tablespoons of butter and I added 2.
I'm gonna skip through the recipe as it goes. I will count up the calories and put it in at the end because I don't wanna have to listen to this whole thing in video.
Now I'm adding 1 cup of heavy whipping cream. I'm gonna give that also a good whisk.
I had to leave this in because a cup of heavy whipping cream. I don't have the kind of problems she has. In fact, frequently with weight loss surgery, I have the opposite issue she has. That would be difficult on my stomach. To have that much just pure fat along with the cheese in a recipe, that's gonna be difficult for anybody's stomach. That is a lot of fat grams. I'm gonna be interested to see how it's made up in the calorie count.
Added the seasonings. I found it a bit too thick and I want my cheese sauce to be really creamy.
With cream it would be.
So I've added about another, I'd say probably another cup of whole milk. All right, now goes in the cheese. I just cubed up some sharp cheddar. This is about half a pound.
Half a pound of cheese in one recipe. Half a pound, actually, maybe if it's a sauce, it's not that bad. Half a pound of cheese is, there's 454 grams in a pound. So it's 227 grams, something like. So that's actually, for a whole macaroni and cheese, that's not so bad. But one thing I did, when I skipped through the Simply Sara recipe, one thing I really noticed with the recipe is how greasy it looked at the end. So I don't know if maybe a mix of cheese would help that, because cheddar does release a lot of fat when you melt it. So I feel like other types, you get the flavor from the sharp cheddar, but I feel like mixing it with other types might have helped.
Of sharp cheddar.
With the cream.
You want to cook it down until you have a smooth, creamy, velvety texture. Added about 3/4 of a whole package of elbow macaroni al dente.
The package was about 375 grams, so she's added about just under 300 grams here, but if it's approximate and she just put it in, say 300 grams of pasta.
Okay, because it's going to continue to cook in the oven. So this part is totally optional, but I'm adding more shredded cheese on top of my mac and cheese.
For the sake of the calorie count I'm about to do, I have counted this as another half pound of cheese. Because I'm guessing you can see in the very corner the end of the cheese that isn't grated. So you know when you get to the end of the grater and it pops off. So I'm thinking she used a whole block of cheese and they work in grams. So I'm guessing she bought a 500 gram block of cheese. Like a 400 to 500 gram block. So I've just said a straight half pound. That looks like about 200, 250 grams of cheese grated up to me. So my calorie count might be slightly off because she doesn't give the amount here, but that's what I've guessed.
There it is, out of the oven.
Look how much grease.
And ready to eat.
I'm gonna do a close-up. Look how much grease that is. You can see it settled on top. Plus the cup of cream, plus the cheese inside. I don't think I could do it. What I think she maybe should have done here, like I said, the different types of cheese, have a little bit of the sharp cheddar on top for the flavor and maybe the color, but maybe have like a mozzarella, shredded mozzarella, something that would give you the stringiness of the cheese, but be a little bit drier when you cook it down, because this is a lot of grease. You can see it bubbling in the corner. Listen to that. That's not the bubbling of sauce. That is the spitting of fat. It's like you're frying something. She's followed the recipe the way it was supposed to be followed, but it's a greasy old meal.
So there you have it. Mac and cheese, my way.
I'm gonna need some more coffee for this, 1 second. Before we begin, let me just show you the calorie count for this meal that I figured out. So I have put in the ingredients as she described because she didn't stick to the original recipe. And then I've added, like I said, half a pound of cheddar cheese for the top, whether that's right or not, But it comes to 4,093 calories. Oh goodness, 4,000 calories for one for one dish of mac and cheese, and she halved this recipe, which means the original one was like 8,000, I'm guessing. I mean, the cheese and the heavy whipping cream alone put it up over 2,000 calories, and it's just so much fat. She's gonna have such an unpleasant day after this. But let's go back to Foodie. I see she's setting up her camera so it cuts the top of her head off again.
Welcome. Okay, so what I have here is, well, Diet Coke. I love Coley, but I want a Diet Coke today. So, and molten lava. Jeez. Fresh out of the oven. I waited maybe 5 minutes and then I'm like,
5 minutes. She is gonna take off the entire roof of her mouth. That melted cheese is gonna kill her.
this smells so good.
I'm sure it does, but it's going to kill your body. Your stomach is going to be so hurt.
By the way, you don't like seeing people eat like a pig, drink like a pig, maybe burp like a pig, fart, I don't know, who knows? Nobody knows. Probably not the video for you.
We all know, and the fact that you're giving that warning means you have some control over it. You've got your stupid wooden spoon again, which is going to make this incredibly difficult because it's a saucy thing. It's going to be everywhere. Oh, do I want to do this react? I don't even know. I feel like I'm going to be filled with rage at her disgusting habits. But we are where we are, and I'm committed to my mistakes, so let's continue.
All right, but this is the Simply Sara mac and cheese. This looks amazing. Like, oh my gosh, so creamy.
Look, it's still burning hot.
I don't even know where to start. This is gonna be like lava. Oh my gosh, okay.
But she won't wait.
I'm gonna get a bite, let it cool off a bit.
Why not get...
You know what, I've decided?
Here's an idea. Why not get a plate, put a serving on a plate where it can cool down, and then come talk to us. There's nothing stopping you from getting more if you want the mukbang to be big. There's nothing stopping you from displaying the service dish. The service dish? Serving dish. Oh. But just for the sake of, you know, surviving, maybe just be a person and put it on a plate. You're gonna regret that beauty bite. What are you looking at? Stop staring into my soul!
Better thumbnail. Okay.
Oh, cut that out, you lazy cow.
So creamy in there. I've decided to not ruin this with Cheetos. Like, I just don't feel like eating Cheetos right now. But I was thinking,
I don't think it's a natural ingredient.
maybe I could do a regular series where I make different kinds of mac and cheese. Like, just totally make like a mac and cheese glow up kind of series where, like, I was thinking how good this would be with like chopped green onion or chopped scallions and some barbecue chicken sliced up on it. Because the barbecue mac and cheese from Panera with the barbecue chicken in it.
I feel like if she's gonna do series, that's not a bad idea. Create your own recipes and yeah, sure, do it. I mean, your creepypasta is basically that. She runs through, what, 3 dishes in creepypasta? So, I mean, if you want to do...
Is amazing. So maybe I could recreate the different types of mac and cheese out there.
That's such a huge
Okay.
bite.
Oh, shit.
You're gonna regret. Go on.
Okay, let me just start talking. Today we're going to be talking about, I love all things.
I wanted that bite. As gross as it was and as stupid as the wooden spoon is to do this because it is so hot she's gonna burn herself. I'm not gonna lie, I would have laughed. I'd have laughed a lot.
Things haunted. When it comes to creepy stories, by the way, if you're new here, Creepypasta is a series where it's creepy and pasta, play on words, because I make a pasta dish, talk about things creepy, not necessarily creepy pastas.
Creepy pasta. How is that a play on words? What words is it playing on?
So for me, my favorite kind of creepy things are ghost related, hauntings, really weird stuff, you know? And I like reading up on different haunted houses and to...
That is a lie because she doesn't do the reading and she doesn't research it. If she did, this might be a more interesting series for someone. She watches an episode of like Unsolved Mysteries and presents it to us half remembered.
Today we're going to be talking about it's very haunted according to its reputation, okay? And that's the Monte Vista Hotel in Flagstaff, Arizona.
So her research is going to be the clip is going to be the program the clip at the beginning came from.
Just off of the historic Route 66, where there's tons of attractions. I do want to make that trip one day, the Route 66 trip. I think it's good. Cheesy beauty bite. It's so hot.
Oh, she cut it. You know she had to immediately spit that out. You know? It's like when you heat up sliced carrots with your Sunday dinner and you take a mouthful and long after the rest of the meal is cold, those carrots will burn through your skin. They're just designed like that.
I don't want to get lipstick everywhere. Man.
So let's do it again because I've learned nothing. Let's not separate the serving to cool down.
I don't want to burn my mouth, so
let's do nothing about it. How can you beat this? Yeah, they said the definition of madness is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. Like, what is she? Oh man. Let's not learn from it. That's gonna cool as a solid lump of cheese.
So the Monte Vista Historic Hotel in downtown Flagstaff. At least I think it's downtown.
Haven't checked.
And the construction started as a community project. It was funded by the community. So construction started in 1926, and the Monte Vista, which translates to Mountain View, it actually opened on its doors on New Year's Day, 1927.
Not related to anything, but that seems like a really weird time to open a hotel. Surely you'd want to open it like the week before Christmas so people could stay in it over New Year. But okay.
Now, a lot of celebrities have stayed at the Monte Vista. So many that their room doors, the doors to their rooms in the hotel, have different celebrities on the door and according to which celebrity stayed in which room. So, for example,
cool.
room 227 has a picture of Michael J. Fox. So you have Michael J. Fox on the door because he stayed there.
Why did she put a picture of Anthony Hopkins if Michael J. Fox stayed there? Did she just, like, not even, I was going to say, did she forget? You do the editing afterwards, you can hear what you're saying.
So there was Humphrey Bogart, there was Clark Gable, John Wayne,
cool.
Anthony Hopkins, the list goes on. Even Robert Englund from Nightmare on Elm Street stayed there. It's so creamy.
Well, it's nothing
When mac and
but...
cheese makes that noise,
That's the sauce, but it's nothing but cream and cheese. Of course it's so creamy. What were you Oh, what is she doing?
know it's creamy.
It's her favorite word.
So the Monte Vista had a lot of celebrities stay there, has 73 rooms and a ton of ghosts. So we're going to talk about the different ghosts that are there.
I wish she would, I mean, it's Rona. Obviously she can't do this now. It's not a realistic expectation. I wish she would do the trip and then do these things, like base them a bit more on her experience, because she loves this stuff. She could find something local. She's been talking about that graveyard tour she wants to do. I don't know if that's going on right now with the Rona, but she could find something local and really like be like, oh, we're here, this is the story. And even as someone who doesn't love horror, I'd be kind of interested in that.
Like I said, molten lava. It's steaming hot.
But I'm not stopping.
And it doesn't seem to be cooling off.
Because it's in a fucking serving dish. Jesus Christ. There are monkeys that could figure this out. If you bite into something and it's hot, either change the circumstances in which it exists or wait. They train dogs with pain management. Oh, it hurts. I won't do that again. What are you... If I put a shock collar in you and buzz you, would you keep eating?
Hotel opened its doors in 1927, and of course during the 20s there in the United States there was the Prohibition. So it was rumored that the Monte Vista was actually a speakeasy and had some bootlegging operations going on.
Sounds like my kind of place. Elegant.
Cheese. Now I use sharp cheddar.
Yeah, it's greasy.
I think simply Sara used mild, but you can do it any way you want.
I feel like cheddar in the sauce, less cream, something slightly drier on top, like mozzarella.
Whichever type of cheese you prefer. Whew.
She's
That
burning.
was a hot bite.
Got it
So
burnt
such a
all the way
colorful
down.
history as the Monte Vista. It's not surprising that there's a ton of different ghost stories, and especially with hotels that have been around for so long, an establishment that's been around for that many years. Some kind of weird shit's about to happen. And I really want to stay there one day, but I will
do it. Go do it. You can do it.
All right.
Genuinely, I wish she would. Like, if this is her interest, whether I like it or not, go do it. Do something with your abilities, you know? Like, you're not working, you're working here. You can control your work environment. Go use some of the money you earn to go and make a series. Invest back into your channel and do something you love to do. You have the freedom to pursue your interests.
One of the ghosts is called the Meat Man, and he stays, apparently he was a longtime resident in room 220.
One thing the fact that this is so hot is doing is forcing her to eat it and not smear it, because it's so hot she can't do that to herself, so she's having to be like and around because she's refusing to wait, which is quite funny and I sort of appreciate.
And they call him the Meat Man because this is so weird, but he used to hang raw meat from the chandelier.
Ugh.
So I think
Why would any hotel allow that? You'd be like, hi, please do not hang our decorations with meat. Thank you. I feel that's a reasonable request. I think you could get thrown out of a hotel for that.
he may have worked in like the meat industry or something. I don't know. He liked to hang meat from the chandelier.
Given it's a horror
When I
story,
read that, I was like, what the hell?
could have been worse, but
That's the creepy part in itself. To me, that's more creepy when he was alive than when he was dead. So anyways, he passed away. We don't know how, but his body wasn't found for 3 days later.
oh,
And
that poor maid.
his ghost is said to haunt the hotel to this day, to that room to this day. Apparently, shortly after his body was removed and the room was getting set up again for guests, the worker, the housekeeper, was making the bed and
Bet there was a pool going on downstairs over who was going to get that job.
reported that the TV suddenly turned on full blast, like really full blast. And then when they looked back, all of the linens were thrown off the bed, like in kind of like a violent manner. And I don't know, maybe he's pissed that he can't eat meat or hang meat in the afterlife. I don't know.
Thanks for that story. That was fascinating.
Yeah, I don't want to ruin this with hot Cheetos.
She also keeps digging out pasta from underneath, which is just going to be the hottest part.
See the steam?
I do indeed.
Let's give you a closer look.
I don't need it.
Super cheesy.
It's a lot of grease.
I don't know what that was. So apparently to this day, if you're in that room, like guests have reported feeling a cold, icy touch in the night, or that TV, like the TV, well,
What is going on with her green screen? She's had a couple of cuts as well where it seems to have just been like, so I don't know if something's messing up.
in that room start acting up and acting on its own accord. So that's kind of creepy. That would freak me out, I think, for sure. So one of the most popular rooms that is usually featured on ghost hunting TV shows or whatever is room 305, and that's the room with the iconic rocking chair. I'm not wearing waterproof makeup, and when you're
This again, that kind of cut. I'm guessing that's where she's getting her information. Whatever ghost hunting TV show went into room 305.
crying because your mac and cheese is so hot,
Stop eating it.
probably a good idea to wear waterproof.
Probably a good idea to cut the sodding camera and leave it to cool down for 20 minutes.
Anyway, I don't know, like ever since I was a kid, rocking chairs have always terrified me because of that, because of the creepy, you always see that in like legendary horror stories or ghost stories. You always have that rocking chair that rocks by itself, and that would really freak me out because
I don't watch very many horror films, but at one point a friend wanted to watch Woman in Black. Yeah, it has a rocking chair in it.
I've always been scared of it. So apparently the story goes, a legend has it that this woman would rock in the rocking chair in her room in room 305
Why does she insist on putting these things behind? I don't know what video editing she's using, but she's been doing this recently where she puts a picture in the corner and it's behind her, so she's blocking it. When you edit videos, you have tracks. You have the audio track, you have your video track, the one I'm wearing right now. Oh, guys, it's been a long week. The one I'm on right now, and then when I'm editing, I put the track that I'm recording on my computer and I put it on top. And then I can turn this into a picture-in-picture and I can match up the audio. That's how I make my videos. And if I have something I want to show, if I put a picture, like I put a picture up of me in front of that massive computer in my last video, you then just make another track and you put it on top. You bring it forward so you're not blocking everything. And I don't understand what editing she's using, but if she's doing enough editing to do a green screen, like, surely she can bring those pictures forward and just put them in the corner over for a second. It doesn't make sense to me how she's doing this. I don't know if it's whatever app she's using for a green screen messing it up, but the editing she's choosing to do is so strange. It's so easy to bring it forward so we can actually
Just
see it.
For hours, and hours on end. And apparently she still does it in the afterlife. It's as if she's still waiting for someone to return or something like that. Apparently the rocking chair will move by itself.
God forbid you have a normal sized bite so it doesn't burn you.
Oh my gosh. This is why Simply Sara, I mean, her recipes are amazing. Maybe I should have waited for it to cool off a bit more.
Yeah, you should have. I have heard that Simply Sara's recipes are fine. Like I haven't tried making one, but the recipes turn out the way she intends to make them. But aside from the odd salad she does or the odd low carb, like her recipes are just full of calories, full of cream, full of fat, full of all the stuff. And I mean, it shows. She's a heavy lady herself and she eats very big portions. I would be concerned about Chantal getting too much into these recipes because they do seem very excessive. And I'm sure they're delicious because excessive things like this tend to make them delicious. But I'm very concerned with this becoming a habit for her. Well, any more than her junk food habit is, I suppose. But if she's going to start moving into, okay, I home cook this and therefore it's healthier, some of the Simply Sara meals are going to be much worse for you than a McDonald's. What's she doing right now?
The melted cheese on top is so good, it's like browned.
What was she counting there?
I'm eating it like this because...
Because? Give me a good reason. Go on.
The layers on my spoon are super hot.
Oh, is that what...
Look at...
Does she think waving around a pile this high is going to help that cool? Just get a plate.
Yeah, I gotta make mac and cheese. I have to make mac and cheese a series. Like, we have to make different kinds of mac and cheese.
Okay.
Use different cheeses, different toppings.
I'm betting every single one of them is going to be creamy. That is going to be the only adjective she uses.
I think I will try to recreate, like maybe even recreate famous mac and cheeses, like the Panera Bread one. Oh, anyways.
Seems like an excuse to eat a
Taco
shit
mac
ton of
and
cheese.
cheese. Like, imagine
For
all
sure.
the mac and cheeses you can make. Seriously. As long as there's unlimited ghost stories.
Could I please make a request? If you're going to make mac and cheese a series, please then take away the creepypasta element of it. Just make the creation of the mac and cheese a series. I could live with that. I mean, I've got a high tolerance for what I can take with you eating on camera. But could we say it's not a creepypasta then? Could we just say it's a recreation? I'd very much appreciate that. Please and thank you.
And mysteries and limited ways to make mac and cheese. I'm in business. The next ghost is a little shit, okay?
But
The
I'll
ghost
include it
bellboy.
anyway.
Actually, I find this one kind of cute. Apparently, John Wayne himself saw this ghost out front of a door. Apparently, there was a bellboy who worked there, and he still works there in the afterlife. Like, bruh, you can retire. Pretty sure. That's where I draw the line. Like, I'm not coming to work if I'm dead.
Draw the...
So,
You drew the line 3 fucking years ago where I draw the line on my hard work. Don't you make fun of people's work ethic? Oh God. That's where I draw the line. Oh God.
Anyway, apparently he still knocks on people's doors, and he'll say, room service.
Would have been a nice picture to put in front of you instead of behind you so we could see it.
It's kind of funny, except if you actually do order room service and you're waiting like an hour for your chicken parm or something, and then that ghost bellboy plays a trick on you. It's like, room service, you open the door, there's nothing there. Just
clearly that's her major concern. What if I order my food and a ghost comes, which means I don't get my food? That is the concern you have right now.
Air. So then you call down at reception and you're like, yeah, what's the deal? There's nothing here. No room service. I heard room service. Where'd the guy go? Actually, bellboy, I'm giving you some ideas here. If you're bored in the afterlife and you want to haunt people. Oh my God. I cannot.
Don't shout at me.
Peace doesn't like mac and cheese.
It doesn't surprise me.
There's leftover spaghetti and meatballs for him.
Leftover? Oh, in the freezer. I was going to say, when did she make spaghetti and meatballs? You didn't tell us that.
Can you freeze mac and cheese? Because I don't want to waste it, and honestly, there's no way I'm going to eat all this.
You are going to eat it in the number of days you could keep it in the fridge. Let's be real right now. It's a lot of cheese to be eating at once. I can't imagine your stomach would be happy if you managed it all today. But you're already a solid third of the way in. So there's no way. It's going to be fine in the fridge for a few days. In terms of freezing it, you can freeze cheese, but I feel like it would affect the texture of the pasta, but you probably could freeze it. But let's be real here, you and me, right now. There ain't no way you're not finishing that before it goes off.
And I don't think my grandma would like something this rich. So this next ghost is one that apparently is the most disturbing to the workers. And most workers don't want to go in the basement unless they absolutely have to. I mean, who the heck does? I hate creepy basements. But apparently there's a disturbing cry of a baby.
And again, all we get is the green screen with her blocking any semblance of the picture.
That can be heard down there, baby's cries. And that would be disturbing enough for any woman with, because it's apparently a baby's cry is meant to trigger our maternal instincts. Apparently that will send them running up from the basement. Just full speed, completely disturbing.
Sounds like a wonderful place to work. I'm sure they've got no problem keeping employees.
Pretty disturbing. Because if it's a baby's cry, it means that baby didn't survive past its infancy, obviously, if it's a ghost, right?
I love how she's making that guess. I'm like, you're telling us the story. I don't really want to hear the story of dead babies. I don't want to. But if you're gonna present it, tell us what happened. Tell us how that baby got down there. You haven't looked it up.
Unless.
Shut
we
up.
don't really know what
unless, oh God.
Ghosts are. We do see people who are dead, but maybe also paranormal. Just means we don't know what it is. Maybe some paranormal apparitions are just things we can't explain. Maybe it's an echo of something that was once there. Maybe a child was in the basement. And maybe it's just an echo of history, not necessarily a deceased person. Who knows, right?
That was, as much as I'm not one for the paranormal, if you're going to explain it, that was not an unreasonable explanation. I'll give you credit for that.
Being optimistic for that poor baby. Excuse me.
Again, when she says this could happen, it's not planned, but it could happen. She went from poor baby, cut, to burp. Clearly there is a reason she left in that burp, because she could have cut after the burp and had no problem. She's got a gap.
All right, apparently at some point, there's the story of the three bank robbers. And this is the last ghost story.
Thank God for small mercies.
Mm-hmm.
That'll cool it down.
Oh my God.
I've got a headache. That is what she's done to me.
I would like kill for some collard greens right now. Seriously.
If only there were a way you could have made vegetables before filming this. I would call it like it's an unreachable thing. Go fucking make them if you want them.
I don't even know how to make them, but maybe I can learn.
You're doing a recreation recipe on your channel right now. Go look up some of the things she says, you guys. Do I just not have patience this week? Is that what it is? Has all my patience gone to biting my tongue in ridiculous meetings at my actual job? Like, the stuff she says is stupid.
Learn. Okay, 3 bank robbers. They robbed a bank nearby the Monte Vista Hotel, and the legend goes that one of them was shot, and despite being shot, fatally shot, they all tucked into the Monte Vista bar to have a drink. So this guy who's fatally shot for one last drink, you know, I guess priority. Hey, I'm gonna die, so may as well go out with a bang. Doing my favorite thing, I guess. So they had some booze, and the guy like actually passed away right there.
Does she genuinely believe this story? Does she? Maybe I should research it myself before I make fun of her for doing that, but that seems unrealistic.
At the bar.
Unless she didn't realise how serious the situation was, because stupid people exist. But I don't feel like bleeding heavily from a fatal wound, because it did eventually become fatal. The way she's saying shot fatally makes it sound like he died and then showed up at the bar, which, given her stories, you know. But I feel like if you were bleeding to death, your priority would not be sit in, I want to say, a public bar. Like, if you're a bank robber, at the very least, you get up to your room.
Apparently some workers have heard a random, good morning. At least it's friendly. Good morning. And, you know, the bar stools will move and glasses will move in the bar. So.
Press X to doubt.
It sounds like it's teeming with ghostly activity. There's a lot of Wild West kind of hotels and that are pretty haunted. There's one in Cimarron, New Mexico, the St. James Hotel. I definitely want to stay there. They have one room completely locked off because of how there's a ghost living there, and he gets pissed when people stay there. So they actually don't let people in it. If it was just like bullshit, they would probably let people stay there. I mean, for the money, right? I don't know.
I mean, if the draw of the hotel is it's haunted, it doesn't cost that much to be like, oh, you can't go in this room because of the ghost. I think there's probably some marketing in that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel sick just looking at how much of that she's eating.
Yeah, I don't know.
How? Like, it's at the point where it's kind of impressive. Like, how?
Demon. I'm gonna take a huge big last bite.
Please don't.
I ate quite a bit of it.
Yeah, you did.
I didn't put all the macaroni from the package. Maybe use like 3/4 of it.
Yep, it's in my account.
It's so creamy and buttery, and the onion powder and garlic powder. I didn't even add any salt because she's a healthy girl, no salt. It's got about 300 grams of fat in it, if I remember correctly from the picture I showed you. Like, just think about that for a second. 300 grams of fat. Use salted butter, and cheese is very salty, and so I didn't want to add like more fat and salt with the mac and Cheetos. So
least to your worries, but it would have been revolting.
This was good enough for me.
Least to your worries.
But comment below, would you stay at the Monte Vista? I'm sure. She is so overfull right now. Like, she's sitting like this. She's holding her arms like bracing herself. And she's gonna do one last big bite. She can't just leave it. Like, she is overfull. All that cheese has hit her, and she's now heavy breathing and bracing herself on the table. A lot of you would like some travel vlogs eventually, probably in a couple of years when I'm into the United States, because the border between Canada and the United States is genuinely morbid thought. I think she's assuming a lot of things that will probably happen to her in the next 2 years are not going to happen to her, because
going as she's going, the idea of her not having a heart attack in the next 2 years is ambitious. But if her mobility is the way it is now, in 2 years, she's not going to be self-sufficient at all, even if she survives that long.
Closed, and they don't, the whole COVID thing, but eventually that's something I would love to do. Get like a different vehicle and just like travel Route 66 all the way through.
It's quite sad that at this point that's just going to be a pipe dream. If you do wait, and realistically we could say, okay, yeah, 2 years, COVID, 2 years. She has gone downhill very quickly, and I think that will just continue to accelerate, because the less you can do to fix it, the faster it goes, the less you can do to fix it, and so we go and go and go. I think she's greatly overestimating how much she's going to be capable of in 2 years' time, assuming she gets that far. Before she hits 40, she's going to be dependent on someone else.
Part of my bike fell off.
Still going. Still over full. Look at her.
I wish you could eat this. I think I made homemade mac and cheese once. And
That's surprising. I thought she'd made it more than that. Maybe I'm remembering a different dish.
it didn't turn out good. Also, my friend, if you're watching, her grandmother, her nan, love her nan, used to stay at her nan's with her, and her nan would make mac and cheese, and all she would use is macaroni and shredded cheese. That was it. And it was so good. It kind of...
That'd just be a brick. Yeah, you need some sauce.
It tastes like this, but this is more creamy, obviously. It's creamier, but I think she would love this. She lives far away, or else I would bring her some. Maybe if I could freeze it. Because she lives in my hometown, right? So.
Where's her hometown compared to where she is now? I was like, if she lives in your hometown, just take it to her. But COVID, don't take this. Don't take this to anyone. It will kill them. But still.
One more bite. You literally cannot stop eating it. It is so good.
You can tell it's cooled down now because she's able to get it in faster and bigger bites.
It's only 11:30. God, it has to be. I started doing this video at 11, so I've been getting up at.
She's eating this at 11 a.m. Oh.
I think I went to bed at 10 p.m. last night, and I woke up today at 6:30.
I mean, I'm glad she's fixing her schedule, because that's a good schedule to be on, and it's a difficult thing to do, so props to her for that. But 11 o'clock you sit down with a pound of cheese and some pasta and cream to do... I mean, I suppose the saving grace is you're not then sleeping on it, but jeez.
And Sam was like, it's like a routine now. He was waiting by the door, up in my balcony door. So I came down, gave them breakfast, made my coffee, went outside with Sam, and BBJ, she doesn't like going outside as much as Sam, but she'll come out once in a while. But yeah, so it's still very early. I have time to recover from this meal, Okay.
When you say recover, you won't be sleeping on it, so maybe, acid reflux would be terrible if you slept on that, but your body's still taking it in. Like, you talk about recovery, you still put it in your body.
That's cool off mostly. Just now. Okay.
We didn't force you with a gun to your head to eat it red hot. That was all you. That was you not being able to wait.
I am done.
I have doubts. I think she's going to wait a little while. She's going to feel quite sick. She's going to have a bad stomach. And then when she's not as full later on, she's going to go back to the fridge and eat some more. Because they're leftovers, and she'll justify it as saying, oh, well, I don't know if I can freeze it, and Peace doesn't like it, I don't want it to go to waste. But it's where we are, because that's how we justify things. When you have a problem with food and it's delicious, and you're like, oh, I'll just have a bit more.
It's not going to keep this creamy consistency, probably, if I put it in the fridge. Which I'm sad about.
It will, because the creamy consistency is all melted fat. You put it in the fridge, it will harden up, and when you reheat it, it will melt again. Like, you're gonna be fine. But this isn't like, oh, I'm gonna throw this away. It's not gonna keep in the fridge. She's gonna eat it later.
You know how things with like reheated, like if even Alfredo, like I don't know.
You just put it back in the oven. Like, you've got a layer of cheese on top of it. The pasta isn't gonna go crunchy.
It doesn't stay creamy like this. So.
Oh, shut up.
Anyways, guys, that's very filling. So
It's half a family size serving of a 4,000 calorie mac and cheese. Of course it is.
oh, but it's so delicious, so delicious. I will put the original Sarah's original video with her recipe down below, and you have to make this. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.
Bye. Okay, we are where we are. She made that was quite a meal. If she's gonna do it, it's up to her. Like, what she puts in her body is up to her, whether I like it or not. But I'm hoping she's not falling into the trap of saying, well, this is homemade, so it's healthier, even though she recognizes that this had a lot of cream and cheese and stuff in. Because that's a really easy way to start making a few very serious mistakes with your health. Let's put it that way. Like, this was very much as much a treat, if we can call it that, as any fast food would have been. I stand by what I said at the beginning of the video about her confusing her content. She either needs to decide that a recipe is going to be a cookbang, a recipe is going to be a recreation, a recipe is going to be a creepypasta, and she needs to be very clear with her audience on that, because otherwise people are going to click in and click straight out. I wasn't expecting this to be a creepypasta, and I don't particularly like creepypastas, so she should give us the ability to easily identify her work and follow the threads of her channel that we like to follow. And that's just generally, as a creator, a good idea. I do wish, in terms of technical aspects, she would fix the layering of her pictures and give us more visible content when she intends to, because she's sticking it behind her right now. I think that's just a learning curve she needs to get through, because the green screen is quite new to her. So I think she should watch a few tutorials on how to use her video editing software in that way. That's about where we are. You guys, this was going to be a very difficult meal for her to digest. I am waiting for the point. She's got to hit breaking point at some time, because she's been doing these mukbangs now for what, a few weeks? Like, this is so much food so consistently. It's almost impressive. I'm like, there's only so far your body can go feeling like crap for so long, and she is gonna feel, this may have been delicious, she's gonna feel like hammered crap later. And I don't know at what point that's gonna be enough for her, but I guess we'll see, and I will see you next time she uploads. Bye bye, everybody.